Title: The Fall of the Benin Kingdom. The 1897 expedition. The distant sound of drums. Flames crackle softly. In 1897, one of Africa's most powerful kingdoms was brought to its knees. Not by war between empires, but by an invasion that would erase centuries of history in a matter of days. This is the story of the destruction of the Benin Kingdom and the expedition that changed Africa forever. Long before European empires carved Africa into colonies, the Benin city stood as one of the most advanced cities in West Africa. Protected by enormous earthwork walls stretching hundreds of kilometers, the kingdom was ruled by a divine monarch known as the Oba. In the late 19th century, the throne was held by Ovonramwen Nogbaisi. Under his rule, Benin remained fiercely independent. But independence came with a price. Across the region, the British Empire was expanding rapidly, pushing deeper into West Africa in search of palm oil, rubber, ivory, and trade dominance. British traders wanted direct access to Benin's wealth, but the Oba resisted. Foreign merchants were restricted. Trade was tightly controlled, and for the British, this was unacceptable. Rising tension. By 1896, tensions were reaching a breaking point. A British acting consul named James Robert Phillips believed the Oba's power had to be broken. Phillips wrote to London proposing something dangerous, a mission to remove the Oba from power. But instead of waiting for approval, he decided to act. In January 1897, Phillips assembled a small British delegation and marched toward Benin City. Ignoring warnings, ignoring tradition, ignoring the kingdom's sacred season when outsiders were forbidden to enter. What happened next would ignite one of the most violent colonial attacks in West African history. The major event. As Philip's party approached Benin territory, warriors of the kingdom ambushed the column. Most of the British delegation was killed. News of the attack spread quickly. To the British Empire, it was the perfect justification for retaliation. Within weeks, Britain assembled a massive military force, 1,200 soldiers, heavy artillery, machine guns. The mission was clear: destroy Benin. In February 1897, British troops launched the Benin Expedition of 1897. They stormed the city. Villages were burned. Resistance fighters were cut down. And when the troops finally reached the royal capital, they found it nearly empty. The Oba had fled. But the city did not escape destruction. British soldiers looted the royal palace. Thousands of sacred artworks were taken. Bronze plaques, ivory carvings, royal sculptures, treasures that told the story of centuries of Benin civilization. Today the world knows them as the Benin Bronzes, but in 1897, they were simply war trophies. Benin City was set on fire. Within days, a kingdom that had ruled for hundreds of years was gone. Aftermath. Months later, Ovonramwen Nogbaisi surrendered to British forces. He was captured and exiled to Calabar, where he would live the rest of his life under colonial supervision. The once powerful kingdom was absorbed into British-controlled territory, its independence erased. Meanwhile, the looted treasures of Benin were shipped across Europe. Many ended up in museums such as the British Museum. For decades, they would sit thousands of miles away from the land that created them. Legacy. More than a century later, the story of Benin's fall still echoes across the world. The Benin Bronzes became symbols of Africa's stolen heritage. Historians now recognize the Benin Expedition of 1897 as one of the most devastating acts of cultural destruction during colonial rule. Today, global debates continue. Should these artifacts be returned? Who truly owns history? And what justice can exist for a kingdom that was burned to the ground? Slow drumbeats return, but one truth remains. The spirit of Benin did not die in 1897. It survived, in its people, in its art, and in the memory of a kingdom that once stood among the greatest in Africa. Because history, no matter how violently it is buried, always finds a way to be told.